Anyway, this fella's name is George Mendonza, and he was a first-class quartermaster on this ship.
Is that right?
Very
That's
way.
true.
Wow.
This ship had just come back from 18 months in the Pacific, and he was going home on leave in New Haven, Connecticut, where he still lives today. He's about 90 or 91 years old. He's failing now. They're trying to, Colonel Bob's trying to get him down here in the summertime to come down, you know, before he passes away. But anyway, they tried to recreate this picture here, you know, with his wife. But when he was, when they came to San Francisco and he was coming home on leave, when he was in New York City, you know, across the Daily Planet, whatever, you know, it said war over, you know, camp surrender and all that. So he grabbed this nurse and he gave her a big smooch, you know, which is just typical for a sailor. I mean, you know, you just, you know. Well, when he was down here about 6 years ago for the Sullivans Association reunion, his wife was with him. Well, he come down, we showed him the picture, shook my hand, and it was like this big. He's been a fisherman since he's 7 years old. His hands are huge. Maybe he shrunk a little bit, but he was about at least 6 foot tall, maybe 6'1". But his hands were like double. I mean, his fingers were, I mean, I don't know how you put a ring on it, you know. I mean, maybe it was a toilet seat he wore. I don't know what the hell it was. Anyway, when he was down here, he says right behind his right shoulder, the next time you see that picture, right behind his right shoulder is his wife.
No kidding.
Yes. She had come down with her girlfriend to see him. And I said, well, why did you let him kiss that nurse, you know? And he says, well, she says, you know, he hadn't seen women in a long time. He says, and the last time he had seen any women is when the USS Sullivan rescued 157 men off the Bunker Hill that had been torpedoed and kamikaze. They brought the wounded men here on ship and transferred them to the hospital ship USS Relief. 3 of them died right there on the table. But anyway, when they got to the hospital ship, they saw the nurses in those pretty white starched uniforms, you know how they used to be. Nowadays you go in the hospital and they got a pair of scrubs on and a SpongeBob shirt. You don't know if she's part of the maintenance crew or what the hell she's doing there. You know? She comes up to me and I said, you ain't sticking that thing in me, buddy. I'll tell you that. But anyway, he says, well, you know, he was all happy and he had a couple pops, you know, and he was in a good mood. And he's typical sailor, he's got to kiss some woman, you know. And I says, well, what about this picture? He says, yeah. She says, I noticed that. He never kissed me like that. I says, I don't know. I says, Rita, I says, you better square away with him. But a lot of people, you might have seen in the paper that McDuffie, they said he just died. He was the kissing sailor. Well, that's been proven that he wasn't even close. I mean, his ears and his eyes, they took George up to the Mitsubishi Research Laboratory and checked the way your eyes go or something that, you know, and his hairline, that other guy, his ears stuck out like this and he didn't have the hairline like George does, you know, and stuff. And you see how he's kissing her? He wasn't trying to be fresh. He had his arm up like this. Well, when he was a kid, he got a big scar on his arm right here from fishing tackle or something like that. And the scar showed up in the picture. This other guy didn't have a scar.
Oh.
He also had a small tattoo right here that said GM, which didn't stand for Gunner's Mate. It stood for George Mendoza.
Yeah.
And when he had his sleeves rolled up, you could see the GM on it. So this McDuffie, we said, get out of here. You don't know what you're doing.